For Cypress-Medicine Hat.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable member for Peace River recently stated that the government's caribou plan would not result in any job losses, negative impacts to the economy, and the government would not be creating any park spaces. But when the minister's caribou plan was released, it so severely restricted 1.6 million hectares of land, it may as well be a park. Job losses are inevitable. To the minister, only one can be telling the truth, the honourable member for Peace River or the minister. Who is it?
The Honourable Minister of Environment and Parks.
Well, how unfortunate indeed for this stream of questions, Mr. Speaker, that were announced, that were essentially answered in the first set by the Premier. Look, you know, we have suspended some aspects of caribou range planning, and we're looking for some assistance from the federal government, as I have indicated now several times. We're also suspending consideration of conservation lands in the north, Mr. Speaker. And you know, the honourable member knows very well the results of the emergency protection order that came in the sage-grouse for his own constituents in southeast Alberta, and it's probably time for him to have some hard questions of his leader, who did nothing for 9 years to fix that problem.
Minister for supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, despite being frozen out of government consultations, the Northwest Species at Risk stakeholder conducted extensive stakeholder consultations. They drafted an extensive report outlining specific ways to effectively protect the caribou without harming the local economy. Yet, the minister has failed to meaningfully engage the Northwest Species at Risk Committee. To the minister, why has the government refused to involve them when they've come up with common-sense solutions for the caribou, and that's exactly what is needed?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the perspectives of municipalities and others were incorporated into the draft plans. Having said that, we are just starting to see the economy looking up, and now is not the time to proceed without a full socioeconomic impact assessment that we can only do with federal assistance, and we need more clarity from the federal government in terms of what kinds of resources that they want to put towards this particular project, and that is why I am suspending some aspects of caribou range planning as a result, Mr. Speaker.
And supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, to say the local response to the government's draft caribou plan was not positively received would be a huge understatement. Response to the plan has been overwhelmingly negative, but when asked, the minister offers feeble assurances that the local feedback is being considered by her government. To the same minister, how is the feedback received from local stakeholders being incorporated into your government's caribou protection plan, specifically included?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, the member for the question. Just for the President and CEO of Alberta Forest Products Association says, it's encouraging that the Government of Alberta has engaged with stakeholders to hear our ideas and work together to conserve caribou. Mr. Speaker, we will continue consulting with all the stakeholders, the local and industry leaders, and doing so, I want to be crystal clear, Mr. Speaker, that we are committed to the protection of the caribou herds, but not at the expense of jobs or communities.